You ever notice how easy it is to spot the flaws in other people? It's like a human superpower. But what if the toughest judge we ever face is the one staring back at us in the mirror? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful piece of ancient wisdom from the book of Romans, chapter 2. It's a text that seriously makes you rethink how you judge others, and maybe, more importantly, how you judge yourself.
It all kicks off with a question that feels like it could have been written yesterday, right? Why are we so quick to point the finger? This chapter just dives right into that human habit, and the logic it uses is, well, it's sharp, and it's pretty surprising. And bam, here's the opening punch, right in verse 1. The text holds up a mirror and says, hey, whenever you're judging someone else, you're actually condemning yourself. And why is that? Because it claims you do the exact same things. It's this wild paradox. You point one finger out, and you've got a whole bunch pointing right back at you.
Okay, so if our judgment is so biased and hypocritical, what's the alternative? Well, this is where the text shifts gears. It moves away from our messy human standards to a perfect one, and it lays out the principles for what it calls God's righteous judgment. So let's break down what that actually looks like.
The very first pillar, right here in verse 2, is truth. This isn't about opinions or feelings or what seems right. Our judgments get all tangled up in personal bias and what we think happened. But this standard, it's based on cold, hard, objective reality. It just cuts through all the noise and gets straight to what's real.
The second pillar, and this is a big one from verse 6, is that it's all based on deeds. It's not about what you say you'll do, or your good intentions, or who you're related to. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you actually do. The text makes it super clear that a person's actions are the evidence on the table.
And check this out, in verses 7 and 8, the text lays out two completely different roads, each with a very different destination. You've got one path, this patient continuance in well-doing, leading to one place, and then you've got the other, for those who are contentious and don't obey the truth, and that leads somewhere else entirely. The message couldn't be clearer. What we do matters. Our actions literally shape our destiny.
And this brings us to the third pillar, which, honestly, is maybe the most radical of them all. Verse 11 drops this bombshell, for there is no respect of persons with God. I mean, that is a huge statement on equality, but what on earth does respect of persons even mean?
It's basically an old-school way of saying no favoritism, no bias, no partiality. In this system of judgment, it doesn't matter one bit if you're rich or poor, what your job title is, or what country you're from. Your background gives you zero special treatment. It is a totally level playing field.
Okay, but this brings up a huge question, doesn't it? If judgment is all about truth and deeds, what happens to people who never even heard of a specific religious code like the Ten Commandments? I mean, how can you hold someone to a standard they were never even taught? Well, it turns out the text saw that question coming a mile away.
And the answer it gives is just profound. It introduces this idea of an internal moral compass, something it calls the law written on their hearts. This is a game changer. It shifts the source of morality from some external stone tablet to an internal, intuitive sense of right and wrong.
I mean, just look at the language here in verse 14. It's saying that some people who have not been given the law can do by nature the very things the law talks about. Think about that. It suggests that a core morality isn't just something you learn in a class, it's something innate, something that's part of being human. They become, as it says, a law unto themselves.
And verse 15 doubles down on this. So how do we know this internal law is real? The text points to two pieces of evidence right inside of us. It's written in their hearts, and our own conscience steps up to act as a witness. The proof isn't in a book on a shelf. It's in our own heads and hearts. So what verse 15 is really describing is this little courtroom that operates inside every one of us. You've got the law itself, that moral code written in our hearts. Then you've got the witness on the stand, that's your conscience, bearing witness to what you did. And finally, the verdict is handed down by your own thoughts, which are either accusing or excusing you. It's all happening right there, internally.
All right, so we've gone on quite a journey here, from our own flawed way of judging people, all the way to this idea of an inner moral law. So what's the big takeaway from all of this?
Let's just wrap it up. First, as we saw in verse 1, pointing the finger at someone else usually just highlights our own stuff. Second, a truly perfect judgment isn't based on who you are, but on what's true and what you've done. Third, that standard is completely and totally impartial, according to verse 11. And finally, maybe the most amazing idea, is that this moral law, this conscience, can exist inside of us even if we've never read a rule book. And the chapter leaves us with this one last, powerful thought from verse 16. The judgment being described here isn't just for the stuff everyone sees. It goes deeper. It reaches into the secrets of men, the motives, the hidden thoughts, everything, the things nobody else knows about. It's the ultimate accountability.
So we're left with this final really personal question. This text puts so much weight on the conscience being the star witness in that internal courtroom. So, if you had to stop and listen to that witness inside you right now, what would it say? What is it testifying about you? Thanks for digging into this with us.